By the time they arrived, Victoria's blood pressure had dropped dangerously low. Her pupils were unresponsive. Lab tests results showed elevated white blood cells, signs of sepsis and internal hemorrhaging. The doctor said it was food poisoning. She had developed hemolytic uremic syndrome, a life-threatening complication of E. coli. It's 8:16 p.m. local time in Lagos, Nigeria. The date is Tuesday, the 15th of December, 1998. Tonight at Osmosis Restaurant, a fine dining establishment tucked into the polished heart of Lagos Island, the unthinkable is about to happen. In one of the city's most exclusive neighborhoods, with valet parking, soft jazz playing, and chandeliers lighting every table, an elegant birthday dinner is unfolding. A Nigerian family based in Alabama, USA, has returned home for the holidays. Tonight, they're celebrating their daughter's 16th birthday in style. The Bank-Anthonys, father, mother, their son and their teenage celebrant, had driven from their temporary residence on Cooper Road, Ikoyi, to the famed Osmosis Restaurant in Victoria Island. Excitement filled the air, balloons, cameras, cake, and the arrival of the famous jollof rice served with prawns, salads and fresh Niger suya infused with Western flair was nothing but breathtaking and mouth-watering. Victoria, the birthday girl, was glowing. Victoria Bank-Anthony was a vibrant teenager, born in Lagos, Nigeria, raised in Alabama, USA, a straight-A student, captain of her school's debate team, a great dance and art enthusiast. Everyone knew her as the spark plug. She hadn't been to Nigeria in over a decade, and now, reunited with her grandmother, Victoria had dreamed of this trip all year. She was here to connect with her roots, to celebrate her life, and tonight was her moment. But that moment was short-lived. Just 12 minutes after the cake was cut, Victoria complained of sharp stomach cramps. Her brother began vomiting. Their mother grew pale. Their father shouted for help. Within minutes, Victoria slumped under the table, unconscious. There was no working emergency number. 911 had no functional presence in Lagos. Osmosis had no trained medical staff, no first aid, no defibrillator, no ambulance, just stunned silence. Her helpless father carried her in his arms to their vehicle, while the sick mother and son joined and held Victoria at the back seat, doing all they can to keep Victoria alive. A traffic jam on Ozumba Mbadiwe Road meant it took them 67 minutes to reach the nearest hospital. By the time they arrived, Victoria's blood pressure had dropped dangerously low. Her pupils were unresponsive. Lab tests results showed elevated white blood cells, signs of sepsis and internal hemorrhaging. The doctor said it was food poisoning. She had developed hemolytic uremic syndrome, a life-threatening complication of E. coli food poisoning, a dangerous bacteria that causes red blood cell destruction, kidney failure and sometimes death. There was no dialysis available. The power went out twice during her emergency transfusion, and the entire situation was a chaos, a situation no one should find themselves in at any time. It was a total disaster. She survived the next day, and the family rushed her to London for immediate medical attention. While Victoria received treatment in a London hospital, the furious grandmother immediately reported the incident to the police station, but the response she got will shock you. "We don't have petrol in our police vehicle to go out for investigation," said the policeman at the desk. "We would need 1,500 naira from you for petrol before we can go out to investigate." Even when money was provided for petrol, the policeman said a further 500 naira is needed to buy writing sheet to take down my statement. The frustration had only just begun. Finally, the case was reported, and the police visited the restaurant and invited the owner to the station for questioning. When the family returned days later to follow up, the case file was empty and the grandmother's statement had gone missing. A senior officer allegedly told them to let sleeping dogs lie. But the Bank-Anthonys refused to be silent. They launched their own investigation. With the help of a cousin in environmental health, they posed as customers and returned back to the Osmosis restaurant. What they discovered was horrifying. Behind the glamour of Osmosis lay a hidden kitchen, the one never shown to customers. Rotten meat stored next to fresh vegetables, staff operating without gloves, A refrigerator leaking warm water, showing the fridge was out of order. A single sponge was used for every plate. There was no kitchen hygiene of any kind. The salad bar Victoria had eaten from had not been cleaned in days. The prawns served at the buffet had been reheated twice over. Victoria survived. Barely. She lost function in one kidney. She returned to Alabama weeks after. A shadow of herself. She left Nigeria with scars, physical and emotional, one she would carry for life. The owners of Osmosis never charged. The restaurant rebranded months later and continued operating as normal. All names in this episode have been changed to protect the identities of those involved, but the story is real.